All right, just when you think it's Bitcoin season, then it turns out to be Ethereum season. And when you think it's ETH season, turns out it's Solana season. Yes, that's right, it's Solana season, right? Bitcoin making a comeback here, right? But watch out for this topping tail. Like until it takes out this topping tail, Bitcoin is still in a kind of dangerous situation. It can wick up here and still go down. Like just see this? This was a topping tail. I'll make it larger so you guys can see. Small topping tail. We never took that out with the close, right? Here was the closest close to it. We never took that out. You have to close above the topping tail here, or even the topping tail here. We never did, and that's when we went down. I mean, that's just a simple chart pattern, and we see this all the time. So even on the weekly chart, right? We could call this a topping tail until we close above it. We're still in the danger zone here. So let's have a look at ETH and Solana, for example, because ETH and Solana seems to be doing, better than Bitcoin. Now, ETH, for example, is pulling back today. This is one of the few rare days where ETH is actually not doing well. Very strong weekly close, as I pointed out, but on the daily, it's pulling back to retest this key high 3500s, 3590 or so support area. And in my very last video, I said we're going to the high 3500s, 3590 here. We almost got there after just one day in my very last video. But look at this, guys. Look at this. This is all the altcoins. Can you see what is up, what is down? Now, obviously, Bitcoin is up, and Ethereum is down, and almost everything else decided to follow Ethereum. Why? Because mostly alts tend to follow Ethereum. Mostly alts tend to follow Ethereum. Bitcoin is up 2%, but most of the alts are down. ENS showing a lot of strength, right? Been telling folks I like ENS showing a lot of strength. Litecoin showing some strength because it's a layer 1 protocol. Layer 1s are doing well right now because of the Trump's the Clarity Act means layer 1 coins are considered commodities, not securities, right? Pretty much everything else down. And what is the one coin? Everything else down following Ethereum. What is the one coin that is up right now? What is the one coin that is up right now? Solana. Here we are. Solana up 3.5%. Of all the big coins, Solana is up the most. Why is Solana up so much? Okay, let me look. Ethereum down, Bitcoin up, everything else pretty much down, except BNB, which is layer 1, XRP, layer 1 coin, Litecoin, alt layer 1 coin, right? They all benefit from the Clarity Act. ENS, right? I've explained the logic for ENS many times. Ethereum naming services benefits from the Stablecoins Act because you need to see people's identities, right? When you're transferring money. If you get rid of banks, if you're just going to use on-chain transfers, you need to see people's identities. And everything else, HBAR benefits from it's a layer 1 as well, but it's also a payments the coin, so it benefits from both Clarity Act and the Stablecoins Act. And the only thing that's up huge, like 3% in a market like this, is Solana. Right, Solana, and in fact, breaking $200 as we speak. It's at 201 right now. You just by looking at Solana's chart for today, you will not think there's a big pullback in Ethereum today, right? So, what is driving Solana to do this right now? And I'll show you guys a chart today of why ETH is, what kind of situation ETH is in right now. This is one of the most accurate charts out there. But before we answer all those questions, first let's answer the question of which crypto exchange does Pablo Jimenez use? Well, Pablo uses this exchange that's non-KYC. That means you don't need to show your ID. That means the exchange can't even see who you are. So I made this deal with them. This is the Pablo link. right? That means the IRS can't see you, tax office can't see you, FBI, CIA, nobody can see you. Deposit and win up to 20% bonus, right? So deposit $100, get an instant 20 USDT futures bonus. Deposit $1,000, get 200 USDT bonus, right? Win up to $18,000 there. Just by trading, right? Different prize pools, win up to $18,000. Okay, so limited time only. This offer finishes on 12th of August. And if you're watching this on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. On YouTube, the link is in the description below. But if you're watching it on any other platform, such as this one, that's okay. Just click on my profile page, and here is my link tree, or Stanlink. It's in, just click on my bio page or a profile page, and it should be the first thing that pops up, because this is a great deal. Okay, let's get back to the markets, folks. But remember, this is only on the Pablo Heyman link, only on this link. So Solana, we'll get to that in 1 second. Now let's have a look at ETH. Ethereum, this is one of the most accurate indicators out there. It's called the MVRV score, right? MVRV basically stands for market value, realized value. What does that mean? Market value, realized value. Market value simply means market value, the market cap, right? Like, you know, what's the market value of Ethereum right now? Well, it's 37, right? 3,713 times the number of Ethereum out there. That's the market value. RV, what's RV? What's the realized value? Realized value means what's actually been sold and traded. What is actually the realized value, right? What's actually been sold and bought. So it basically looks at what's actually the price that was sold and bought times the volume that was sold and bought. People might be a little bit confused with this, but trust me, it's an important signal to understand, because look at this. This kind of called the top perfectly when the top in ETH, at least this top, which was a major top, when ETH popped above this trend line. And when it does pop above this second yellow trend line, it does warn of sharp pullbacks as well. So MVRV, the best explanation I heard so far was someone described it as this. Basically, say you live in a neighborhood and you bought your house for $500,000, and everybody else also bought their house. You know, it's a new estate. Everyone bought their house for $500,000, and there's 10 houses on in this compound. 10 times $500,000 is $5 million. That's the realized value. What's being realized? What's being sold? 10 houses at $500,000, right? So that's $5 million realized value. But a new transaction, one new house just got sold on this block for $1 million. Now that $1 million is the new housing price. $1 million times 10 houses is $10 million. $10 million compared to the $5 million is MV times RV. Market value times realized value, right? 10 houses times $1 million market value is $10 million. 10 houses times $1 million is 10 houses times $1 million is $10 million. 10 houses times $500,000 is $5 million. So MV, market value, divided by RV, right? Then MV divides RV is basically 10 divided by 5, which is 2 to 1, ratio of 2. Now here, you see here's the ratio of 2, here's the ratio of 4, here's the ratio of 6, and we'll use that to compare Ethereum or Bitcoin as well. So we can see that when ETH is heating up, right? Have we topped in Ethereum yet? You could ask. This was the second top. Well, this is a pretty significant top as well, but this is the all-time high top. It's at least when ETH was above this yellow line. And here, ETH was above even the red zone, so that was an obvious blow-off top, right? This was a double top. And when it comes down here, it's in the green zone. See, look at it every time it's in the green zone, right? This was a buy signal, and this was a buy signal, and this was a buy signal. those were pretty good signals because they were like at $900, $1,100, and $1,000. Great signals. But as I always say, nothing is 100%, nothing is 100%. So we see Ethereum getting up here, right? And Ethereum, it didn't tell us this was the top. This was the top. This was the massive top, because we never even reached the yellow zone. Like here, right? Even this one was a fake signal, because if you sold here, it kept on going up. Here was the big pullback. And we couldn't have known about that because it was in yellow for quite a while, right? I mean, this was kind of a good signal, right? If you sold here, that's not bad either. If you sold here, that was pretty good as well. So the thing is, it didn't help us with these three signals. And it's even ETH at 3,800 right now is not anywhere near the yellow area. So I don't think this is the top. I don't think we're at a top in process right now. I think we get to at least 4,800. We're going to challenge 4,800, and I think ETH breaks through above 4,800. So basically, the good thing is some of these signals tend to be quite accurate. It's like, look at this one, quite accurate. Look at this green area here as well. It told us to buy below 1,800, and this was like 1,600 and 1,100, whatever, right? Very good signals. But this was not in the yellow. And these three peaks, 1, 2, 3, it was not enough to warn us of a pullback. And same here, if we do have a massive pullback, which I don't think is going to happen, but it's not high enough to warn us. So, as I've been saying, no signal is 100% accurate. So, Ethereum hasn't made an all-time high top. Is this the final top for this whole bull run? I personally don't think it is. Right? I personally don't think it is. However, in the past, it has made big pullbacks without getting into the yellow zone. But I think this time, at least we get into the yellow zone. At least some sort of blow-off move like this, similar to this time or something like this. I think we will see this trend line get into the yellow zone, right? Maybe even get into the red zone, but at least somewhere into the yellow zone and probably above 4, like mid-yellow zone, and then that's the top and pull back. Now, and on the other hand, let's have a look at Solana. Why is Solana doing a move like this? Solana, for example, right now, let me show you guys on the weekly chart. So Solana on the weekly chart looks like this. It's probably better if I show folks Solana on a different chart, on say something like MEXC. Then we can see that with it, we can see it more clearly. Solana is basically in a massive triangle. Like there are Bitcoin looked like this as well, but then Bitcoin broke through. So basically, like that is actually a very bullish looking chart. Like it's what they call a rising triangle. And we've had the all-time high at 262, and we've had the all-time high, just a spike up to 290, but essentially kind of a double top. And we keep on bouncing along this rising trend line, and we bounced off here once, twice, 3, 4, 5, and then we bounced it off a 6th time and a 7th time, and we're here right now. And today, when ETH is leading all the altcoins for a pullback, Solana is still rising. Solana is hitting 200, and it doesn't take much effort to actually break through here, something like this, and then we'll take off. How high could Solana go? Okay, I've drawn the Fibonacci extensions on 2 of them. So once we get above here, like 295 to, let's call it 300 area, will obviously be resistance because of the old all-time high. And then 384 and 420. So that's just call it 410 area, 400 to 410 area. And then eventually, I think if I have to pick a high for Solana this season, it'd be something like this, 560s, right? Because of this 1.618 Fibonacci extension, which is the major resistance. That's provided, right? If Bitcoin hits 150, 160 area, could be as low as 140. And if Ethereum hits something like 8 to 9K. So that's where I think it's going. But why is Solana not going down right now? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, as I've shown you guys, all of the layer ones are doing well because of the Clarity Act, saying they're commodities, not securities. But two, for folks in my Discord and for folks who have been following me in my social media, know this. I've been talking about a Solana season. In fact, on August the 5th, August the 4th, August the 5th, which is less than 2 weeks from now. Believe it or not, less than 2 weeks from now, the Solana phone ships. There's a Solana phone called Seeker. I think it's the second time they produced a phone. It's called Seeker, and that Seeker phone is coming out on August the 4th. And you know, a lot of new apps on Solana has launched. I've spoken about them before. SoChat, SoMail, SoKeep was a project that failed. You know, SoBox. So there are a number of these projects, but not as many as you would think, because if once you get a Solana phone, just like your normal iPhone, there would need to be a number of apps. You need apps for the mail. You need apps for storage. You need apps for the internet. You can't just use Apple apps because it's not decentralized. If you want to use Apple apps or Samsung apps or Android apps, why not just buy a Samsung phone or a Huawei phone or a Apple phone or an iPhone or a Xiaomi phone? Because if you want to just use Apple App Store, then just use an iPhone. If you want to use Android, then just buy a Samsung Galaxy or a Huawei phone, right? The reason why Solana is pulling out its own phone is because all the apps on there are decentralized. The social media, the mail, everything. So they think it's much more safer. There's more privacy. That's the reason why. So all the apps, even the AI apps, right? So all the apps need to be decentralized and be on a blockchain. That's something to look forward to. I can't believe Solana has left this run so late until now, and with only like 10 days, 11 days to go. And also maybe some of those Solana apps that we've been dollar cost averaging into, SoBox, SoMail, and the failed project of SoKeep, maybe they can make a run as well. Okay, thank you for following, guys. I'll catch you next episode.